Ethan woke to something the city had never given him before. Absolute silence. No engines below, no sirens in the distance, not even voices leaking through the apartment walls. Maya stumbled into the hallway, gripping her phone. "Any messages?" she asked. Ethan checked. Nothing. Not one new notification. The television showed static. Every radio station hissed. Their calls rang and rang, but no one answered. Then they looked outside, and the silence finally made sense. Hundreds of cars sat frozen in the streets. Doors hung open. Headlights still burned. But there were no drivers. No pedestrians, no cyclists, no movement anywhere. Ethan searched the rooftops and the sky. There weren't even any birds. The city looked perfectly untouched, except every human being had vanished. Then, somewhere in the apartment behind them, a floorboard creaked. By noon, waiting inside felt worse than going out. Ethan and Maya took the stairs, moving slowly, listening at every landing. The lobby doors stood open. A paper cup of coffee steamed on the reception desk, as if someone had set it down seconds ago. Outside, a grocery cart rolled slowly through the empty intersection. No one pushed it. No one chased after it. Across the street, elevator doors kept opening and closing for passengers who never came. Everything had stopped when people disappeared. Keys in locks, bags on sidewalks, the whole city frozen mid-breath. They called out. Their voices echoed between the buildings. Nothing answered. Then both heard it. Footsteps. Slow, careful, coming from the parking garage beneath their building. They followed the sound into the concrete darkness. Each step echoed ahead of them, always one level lower. At the bottom, the footsteps stopped. The garage was empty. They backed toward the exit. The moment they reached daylight, the footsteps began again, this time behind them. They returned to the apartment and locked the door. Outside, the city was empty. Inside, at least, they knew every room. Then Maya heard a woman whisper directly behind her. "Please don't leave me." She spun around. No one. Just the silent living room and the dark hallway beyond it. Ethan asked what was wrong. Before Maya could answer, Ethan froze. "They're still here," he said. Maya stared at him. "What?" Ethan looked confused. "I didn't say anything." Maya stepped back. "I know, but I heard you." Then more voices surfaced. Not from the hallway, not from the walls, from somewhere inside their own thoughts. Names, birthdays, half-finished memories, someone laughing, someone crying, someone begging for help. Neither of them recognized the voices, but every fear, every memory, every desperate word felt completely real. Were they hearing the minds of the missing, or was something else somewhere in the silence, learning how to speak to them? Night fell, turning the empty city into black glass beyond the windows. Ethan and Maya stayed close, but the apartment no longer sounded empty. From the kitchen came the slow scrape of a chair across tile. When they looked, the chair had moved, and one cabinet stood open. Then the faucet turned on by itself. Water ran into the silent sink while neither of them dared cross the doorway to stop it. 3 measured knocks came from the locked hall closet. After a long pause, the same 3 knocks returned, harder this time. Ethan took a flashlight, unlocked the door, and pulled it open. Coats, boxes, a bare wall, nothing hiding, nothing moving. He closed the closet and turned toward Maya. The knocking started again, but this time it did not come from the closet. Three dull blows travelled through the bedroom wall from somewhere inside it. They were not being followed. Something was already inside. By morning, the voices were clearer. Maya found herself at the desk, writing words she did not remember choosing. Wake up. Wrong one. Not alone. She dropped the pen, but the final letters were still fresh. The handwriting looked exactly like hers, only sharper, more certain. Later, steam clouded the bathroom mirror. As Ethan wiped the glass, a message appeared beneath his hand. Find the doorway. On Maya's mirror, a different warning surfaced through the fog. Do not trust memory. She covered it before Ethan could see. Ethan did the same with his message. When Maya asked what he had seen, he said only that the mirror was empty. They sat across from each other, each pretending nothing had changed, while the voices whispered separate instructions into separate minds. Whatever was communicating with them knew what each one feared. And now it was making certain they no longer trusted the same reality. That afternoon, the apartment began changing. The hall outside Maya's room stretched farther than the building could possibly contain. Ethan walked toward the kitchen, but every doorway led him back to the same hall. The apartment had become a loop. Then the windows changed. For one impossible second, the city vanished, replaced by a grey ocean with no shore. The next window opened onto a black forest. Another revealed unfamiliar stars hanging above a violet desert. Then the city returned. Ethan said reality was breaking apart. Maya disagreed. Broken things collapsed. This felt deliberate, as if someone were rebuilding around them. The voices returned with memories neither of them should possess. A childhood kitchen, a hospital room, a song their mothers never sang. And beneath every borrowed memory was something worse. The strangers' voices were beginning to sound exactly like Ethan and Maya. Sleep became impossible. Every time one of them closed their eyes, the whispers grew louder, repeating secrets in familiar voices. Near dawn, Ethan found Maya speaking softly into an empty room. She stopped when she saw him and swore she had never said a word. Hours later, Maya found Ethan standing motionless in the kitchen. His eyes were closed. A calm smile rested on his face. When she touched his shoulder, he woke in panic. He remembered going to bed. He did not remember entering the kitchen. After that, they began hiding things. Maya kept the pages she wrote. Ethan stopped telling her when the walls whispered his name. They took turns pretending to sleep, each watching the other's silhouette move through the apartment after dark. The apartment no longer felt haunted. A haunting came from something dead. This felt occupied by something patient, intelligent, and awake. Searching the basement, Ethan and Maya found a maintenance room hidden behind a steel door neither remembered seeing before. Inside, a machine covered in wires and handmade circuits hummed softly. even though every power indicator in the building was dead. A notebook beside it described an experiment joining consciousness, memory, and collective thought. Most of the final pages had been torn out. One sentence remained on the last page. Only one mind remains awake. Ethan read it twice before looking at Maya. He believed the machine had erased humanity. Maya believed whoever built it was still present, watching them through the voices. Together they tore out wires, smashed the controls, and drove a metal bar through the center. The humming finally stopped. But upstairs, nothing changed. The streets were still empty. The voices remained. Destroying the machine had only destroyed their easiest answer. Then every voice stopped at once. No fragments, no whispers. For the first time since the city vanished, there was perfect silence. In that silence, Maya remembered something that did not belong to the missing. It belonged to the night before. She saw the living room in darkness. Ethan sat alone on the sofa, leaning toward an empty chair as if someone occupied it. He whispered into the darkness for hours. Maya had watched from the hallway, but until now, that memory had been missing. She turned to him. "You knew." Ethan did not deny it. His face changed, but the emotion was not fear. It was relief, as if he had been waiting for this exact moment, waiting for her to recover one buried piece. "You finally remembered," he said. And Maya understood the worst part. Ethan had been through this silence before. Maya searched until she found an old laptop beneath Ethan's bed. Its security archive still held footage from the night before. On the screen, Maya stood over Ethan while he slept. She was smiling, whispering unfamiliar words, drawing impossible symbols across the wall. Maya stared at herself. "I don't remember any of this." Ethan backed away. "I know," he said. "You never do." Every few years, he explained, Maya became someone else, someone able to remove entire populations, then wake with no memory of what she had done. This was not the first empty city. It was only the first time Maya remained awake long enough to discover that she had caused it. The voices were never trying to haunt her. They were the erased, pushing through whatever remained, begging her not to do it again. Maya looked into the bedroom mirror. Her own terrified face stared back. Then the reflection smiled, while Maya did not.